This meeting to order then, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting October 10th. Everyone's had a chance to review them. Anybody have any corrections, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead. I'll second it.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the regular board meeting minutes, October 10th, 2016. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Then we'll move on to the general fund vouchers, 73,962 through 74, double lot 5, and wire transfers 161,70120 through 161,70133. I will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the general fund vouchers as listed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, motion passes. We'll move on to our public comments section. I didn't see, does anybody have anything to? Okay. Then we'll move on to our spotlight on education.
Okay, so Mrs. Ritterpush has come in, has agreed to come in and share with us. She went to her second year going to the WATG, the Wisconsin Association for Talented and Gifted. So I'll let her speak to that.
So it kind of has a funny looking pronunciation. It's called WATAG because there's the and with the lower A in between the T and G. So the annual WATAG conference was a week and a half ago, and again, it was fantastic. It was probably even better this year than it was last year. I really appreciate you sending me. There's a lot of networking opportunities and a lot of opportunities for learning, not just with the keynotes, but the breakout sessions, the networking in between, and just the interesting people you end up having lunch with and such. I had some very interesting lunch conversations that let you know some things that are going on around the state and just some different viewpoints. You get a hodgepodge of people at your lunch table sometimes. There were some really fantastic things that came out of the keynotes. One of the nice things that I'm not sure, I know I've gone to other conferences before. This one seems to be a little bit different in that, and part of this may just be the evolution of technology. Every single session that you go to has all of the handouts, all of the PowerPoint presentations, everything all linked on the sketch so that you can download it all at your leisure and even get to sort of virtually go to conference sessions that you weren't able to attend. And WATAG breakout sessions seem to be especially good about that they give you more information than you could possibly ever think that you would need. I went to one session on starting a social emotional wellness day in cooperation with other schools, and she gave us everything that they had put together, from the letter that's sent home to parents to the feedback forms from the students and the schedules they had and sample presentations and everything. So just absolutely fantastic information, really great networking opportunities, like I said. You get to meet a lot of different people and you learn about some things that are being done in different districts that allow you to say, hey, that's pretty good. We'd like to see that happening here too. I know that I have already been able to send out through our Google Docs system. I've shared a folder of information with staff and already had some very interesting conversations with Mrs. Millar about things that we might be able to do for social emotional wellness and the affective part that goes along with the GT. Obviously it's good for all students, but GT students sometimes need it a little bit extra because there is that idea of if I'm an advanced learner or gifted, then I shouldn't need any extra help, and they're not always willing to go for it. So sometimes just incorporating this into classroom activities or guidance activities is a real boost. So we've had some good conversations about how to wiggle in some things into the classroom activities and to her guidance activities as well, and even had some conversations about starting some smaller groups. So that there's anything else to add unless anybody has any questions. It's definitely, I think it's worth your money to send, especially when I'm able to bring information back and spread it throughout the staff. And then I slowly start chipping away at the massive reading list that's recommended from all the teachers and support personnel that are there as well. Any questions? I know that some of this might be old hat and some of it might be very new territory. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm off to the concert. My family is already there. So.
Yeah. Okay, well then we'll move on to our new business. First, the review of our board retreat.
Did any of you guys want to speak to that, or do you want me to? Which is
You
fine.
can go ahead and start if you want to,
Okay.
Josh.
Just wanted to, on the 13th, the board had a board retreat that I was a part of, and I just thought it went very well. I feel like as a district, as a board, starting to move in the right direction, and some of the conversation that's taking place is, talking about strategic planning and just planning for the district, and has been all focused around students, which I really appreciate it. And I think the board, Guy Levitt did a really nice job coming in and presenting some of that information for us to kind of take and digest and think about. So I thought overall the board retreat was a huge success from my perspective as far as the conversation that took place and where we're headed.
I really like the survey, getting that going and being able to use that moving forward and putting it all out there and seeing how that can be used.
Speaking of which, did you by chance send that link to Brent?
I have all of his information there, so I can email him that link so he can do it as well.
I can do it too if you don't want to, Josh.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get him to get it done so then when he comes back we can put that on the agenda and review the results. And we did a little bit of talking about Josh's job description and evaluation and some goals and stuff for him coming up. So that's something we're going to have to continue fostering to get so the board can do a good job with Josh when that time comes. What else did we talk about?
I mean, I got from both of them, it kind of, some of it like overlapped between that and the October 19th. And I think with what he was saying with possibly dividing our board meetings, I kind of like that idea where the first one would be business like this, and the second one work towards strategic plans, strategic goals, making sure we're doing the right thing in the right way. I think we need to move a little bit more from being reactive to situations to proactive when it comes to that. So we have measurable goals, so we have the right policies to measure the right things. I think if we could kind of switch our way we do meetings, we might be able to get to some of that stuff a little bit easier. Because the second one we went to, it was, by that point I'm just like, gosh, we got a long ways to go. I mean, we got a good base, but there's a lot to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot that wasn't done in the past that we need to get up to speed.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, Dave, but
Well, if you went to the meeting at WSAB meeting, there's a lot of school boards and districts that are way ahead of us, way ahead.
okay. Well, I'm glad you guys went, so now we can get ourselves where we need to be. Okay, any other comments on the board retreat? Okay, good. Now the next one is our review of the WASB regional meeting, so now we can hear about what you guys learned.
I thought there was two parts to it. I was able to go to the first session, which was board governance. There was Barry Forbes, the attorney, was there, so you got some free legal counsel, and you could throw questions at them. And that could have went on for hours. The amount of information that was delivered was just really good information, and just specific to what we're doing. I was able to ask questions about our taking minutes, open and closed session type questions, just basic board governance from the board. So it was really good for me to hear and have the ability to just throw a bunch of lists of questions at him. I kind of ordered them to myself afterwards, but I took full advantage of the free legal counsel that was there. And then the second half of the meeting was more of a kind of overall share. I don't know if you guys have anything you wanted to share to the second part of the meeting.
There was a good evaluation too that you guys, I might just see if we can get you copies of that yellow part, that back part of the handout. I thought maybe it would be interesting for you guys to kind of see the questions they asked us and the evaluation they did there too, that I thought was pretty good. Or even just give you our PowerPoint handouts that he kind of went through. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'd love it if we could
I can
get
forward
that.
those on.
The evaluation was similar to what we took the other day at that.
Yeah, I just think it
computer.
helps us broaden where we can go and what we can do
And where we're at.
and where we're at. Yeah.
Yep.
And they also, one of his resources was the National School Board Association webpage versus just the WASB. And I went on that for a bit this weekend. They have tons of really good resources too.
Yeah, they were all about trying to measure performance, trying to set goals as a board. And then
Yeah,
try
the
to-
strategic planning part, I think the National Board page does a good job of helping us get there.
And then we have to come up with ways that we can measure our progress. So, and let the community know where we're at too.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on the regional meeting? Good stuff, foster the mind. All right, then we'll move on to a review discussion of our negotiation/compensation committee.
So just more of an update, wanted to fill you guys in that we had our first negotiation is what it's been called in the past, negotiation committee, and I met with them and talked to them about turning that committee more into a compensation planning committee, and that was kind of the direction that the board was wanting me to go, in the direction that I wanted to go as well. And I thought it was a very good first meeting, and I think everybody's on the same page as far as the limitations that we have financially as a district and the reality of what that means, and just also being able to compensate in a way that doesn't have huge ramifications with the budgeting, and talking a little bit about are there different things that we can change up within the district with sick days or personal days, some of those conversations, but also trying to develop something that's more of a fixed number, so we're not always just looking at the CPI every year, and doing that through a compensation plan. So next step is kind of reviewing some of the compensation plans that have been used in the surrounding areas and throughout the state, and then also discussing some of the things that we've done in the past here in the district, even prior to Act 10 with the step and lane, and how can we do something similar to that. What's the smartest and most cost effective for the district, so that we're not in a bind a year from now after we create an elaborate plan. Then you may just be looking at cuts, which nobody wants. So I feel like everybody's on the same page, and the committee did a really nice job having some of that open conversation that sometimes can be difficult, but it was very well attended, and I felt like everybody communicated well. So next, go ahead.
Do you have a list of people? Who are the people on this board or this committee?
I took attendance, yeah, so I don't have the list with me. It was about 15
Are they
individuals.
teachers, staff, or are they?
Teachers.
Okay.
So right now, the first plan would be a compensation plan specific to the teaching staff. And then from that point, we would move towards, looking at a fixed percentage for the other groups within the district.
When do they usually meet?
As far as in the past?
I mean, do they get together regularly, or?
No, this was the first meeting. So we just had it. The next meeting is going to be, the next meeting is November 16th,
Is it during the school day?
3:30.
Do our board members?
Yep, so both the negotiation committee or compensation committee, whatever we want to call it, and then the next agenda item calendar committee, I was looking for maybe one representative from the board to attend each of those committees or be a part of it if you choose to be.
You want to be on that, Dave? That's a good one I've been on that one. It's a good one.
Okay. Just let me know if else, that's,
Okay.
depends on my schedule.
Yeah, there's a lot of insight to be gathered when you go to the actual committee meeting. When, the negotiation, the compensation committee meet, and I don't know how this plays into it, but is the staff, is it thrown out to the staff once in a while, hey guys, we're looking for ways to save money, so maybe if we can save money in some different areas, we could take that and use that?
Yeah, so this committee, I opened it up to everybody. So I threw an email out to all staff saying everybody that would like to be a part of this meeting, the door's open. I just asked that if you be a part of it to make it consistent so we don't have an open door
Right.
kind of policy where we're having discussions and you have 5 new people and you don't want to just keep rehashing stuff that you've talked about. And then I asked them to really be the voice from that to communicate that back to everyone in the district, so that way when once we get to a point where we're finalizing and implementing something, that we don't have people asking questions or frustrated or
Right.
feeling like they didn't have a voice, because it's open to whoever would like to be a part of it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, then we'll move on to, did you have something, John?
No.
All right, then we'll move on to our discussion of the calendar committee.
Okay, so the calendar committee, this one is just asking to see if there's a board member that would like to be a part of that. The first meeting is going to be November 14th at 3:30. I thought.
I'd be interested, but 3:30 just isn't going to work.
Okay.
Day of the week is that?
What's that?
Do anybody know what day of the week it is?
Monday. So it's, pretty sure it's the night of the board meeting.
Yeah.
What's discussed on the
I could make
calendar?
that work.
Okay.
Yay, thanks, Danny.
Say it again, Dave?
Yeah. Is that like the calendar that you give us? at
Yep,
the
so the
beginning of the
district
year?
calendar
Yeah.
for next year. Typically it's done towards the end of the year, but we're trying to move it up.
Okay. Any other discussion on the calendar committee? Okay, then we'll move on to our superintendent notes.
Okay, so just have a list of things. Wanted to say congrats to the volleyball team for a great year. They did a really nice job this year. It's a young team, but if you attended any of the games, the atmosphere in the gym has just been electric and very exciting and fun to be a part of, on top of just a really good group of girls. And just the sportsmanship did a really nice job. And this area just blows me away, the talent that the volleyball programs around the surrounding area have. So really nice season to them. Congrats to the coaches as well. So also congrats to the football team and the coaches. They did a fantastic job finishing the year out. Boys played really well closing the year out, and had just a heartbreaking loss, a 1-point loss to Pepin last Friday. But overall, a great season, great kids, and the coaching staff did a nice job finishing the year out. Couple things happening. We are there's going to be some power put out by the baseball diamond. We're putting a scoreboard out to the baseball field. There was some money that was raised, and I think there was some money that was donated. So we're putting a scoreboard, I think, left center field.
Is that baseball or softball?
That's on the boys baseball diamond. So that I believe that's going to be starting in the next day or two. Mr. Hansen and the crew are going to start doing that. This was Disability Awareness Week, so Mrs. Blanchard and the SNAP crew have started different activities that they're doing each day to just bring, kind of unify that crew and bring awareness of the different disability areas. This district is absolutely phenomenal. The amount of collaboration that you see between not only the reg ed staff and the special ed staff, but the collaboration between the student bodies, the reg ed and the special ed staff is just remarkable to see how much interaction there is and how much the kids really have this acceptance within the district and look out for one another. So really, and a lot has to do obviously with the close-knit community that we live in, but also what our teachers foster within the district, and this is a great example of that. Each day just something else going on. So very neat. I was able to experience my first Star of the Week in Ms. Schieffer's classroom. She invited me. My daughter was in there, so it was fun to be a part of that. I wasn't sure what I was walking into, but my wife and I and our whole family got to be a part of that and eat lunch with my daughter and the fourth graders. So very fun to see. Also, I was invited to see an inquiry project with in Mrs. Anderson's class, who happened to be my son's class as well. But really neat to see all the kids and what they plan on being right now as second graders, what they plan on being when they grow up. My own son happened to choose a professional football player, so obviously some of them are very cute and fun to see, but also some very neat picks that the kids chose. It's some school veterinarians, and she really does a nice job with the kids looking into the projects and talking about that. But then also at the end they do a neat public speaking component to the project that Mr. Peterson and I got to see, and kids did just a fantastic job. And even in that classroom, there's a couple other classrooms that came in to participate, and the kids that some of kids with disabilities that are in that room, just really neat to see their involvement as well. SLO, we had our first SLO help night. Mr. Gillis and Mr. Peterson put on student learning objectives that's tied to the educator effectiveness for the teaching staff that they put on, allow the teachers to come in, and they provided them with support questions, anything they needed regarding educator effectiveness or their specific SLO. We talked about the WASB regionals, the board retreat as well. Fire Prevention Week was 2 weeks ago, so there was some stuff going on at the elementary. We had fire drills in both buildings. Both went off without any major hitches, so it was good to see. Parent-teacher conferences coming up here in 2 weeks at the elementary. Mr. Peterson informed me this is the third year. This is currently the third year that we've done the online register, and it seems to be going extremely well for the parents. And I did it myself, and it went really well. So it's nice to have that. And then coming up is Thursday is a sectional game, Clayton versus McDonald, that we're hosting here in the gym. So that'll be going on Thursday that we host that sectional game. That's it.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah. Both seasons coming to an end, and the next sports season's about to begin.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any more on Josh's presentation? Okay. Then we'll move on to our future agenda items section of the meetings. Anybody have anything that they want to talk about putting on one of our one of our next agendas.
We need to work on our coaches' code of conduct.
Yep.
We also spoke earlier in the year about a new auditor. So for the next year, they said this is about the time we want to start looking for a new auditor.
And just to rehash some of the other things that we've got on our plate, I guess
Retirement package.
yeah, that's still on there too.
What was it?
The retirement package, so we can
Oh.
pin some of that down.
Or 528, are you talking? Yep, we've got the 528. We've got our superintendent, what do you call it, evaluation, job description, goals, that type of thing to get done. That's all I've got on my list. Anybody else have anything else?
I have one thing that we may have to have a special meeting for. The school board must approve the levy amounts on or before November 1st, and they came out late this year. I contacted a colleague and said this has happened in the past. What they're doing in the district that he's at is they're just having a special meeting because of the lateness that they were put out. So be looking to do a special meeting if this works for you guys on the 31st, which is a Monday, and we could do it. It would be, literally a 5 to 10 minute meeting. So if you wanted to move it up earlier,
Monday, Halloween.
yeah.
What time works for you guys?
I'm open nowadays. So you guys with younger kids, maybe it makes a difference.
It doesn't matter to
I'll be
me.
in town for trick or treating, so that's, whatever, it's a short meeting, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Time to get home from work.
I can be back here by, barring any problems, I can be here back in town by about 5:15.
5:30?
5:30 sounds good to me.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, yeah, that won't take long to do it all.
Just gotta make sure we get that posted.
Yep.
It's Friday.
Is that?
Posted Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, any other future agenda items, guys?
Do we have a transportation committee?
We
Like
don't.
with the bus garage?
Mm-mm. Transportation committee?
Well, I mean, we have a bus driver policy for the bus drivers and all that stuff, so, and we've got committees for everything else. I'm assuming that would be another committee we could have, or that we could be, one of us could represent
Yeah.
there.
Maybe we could, maybe something like a handbook committee, reviewing handbooks, maybe.
Well, I just heard of an incident that it'd be interesting to see what our policy manual says about it. So, recently,
Okay.
and
The bus drivers do fall under the support staff handbook also.
Yeah.
They are part of that.
Okay, anything else? All right, then we'll move on to our contemplated closed session section of the meeting. You guys, thanks for coming in. In accordance to WSS 19.851C, considering employment, compensation, or performance data of any public employee or which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The board will be discussing employment, compensation, performance of an employee, and review of state report card. I'll pull the board. Nettie?
Yep.
Myself, yes.
Yes.
Pete, yes.
Yes.
David, yes. We are in closed session. All right, I declare we're in open session, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned.